Welcome to video 4 in a series of piano and instrumental practice techniques. Today we'll look at focused and purposeful practice. I find that a lot of my students don't know how to practice. They haven't been taught how to practice. They don't know how to go about it and how to approach things in a most effective way. So I actually spend quite a bit of lesson time teaching them how to practice, how to think, and how to creatively solve problems. I will actually have them sometimes practice a passage in a lesson to see how they're going about it and analyze what they're doing and look at other possible approaches. I do encourage them to practice with goals in mind, what they want to accomplish in the long term and the short term. But specifically, each practice session, they should have goals, what they hope to accomplish. Focused practice means everything you do is fulfilling a purpose. There's an emphasis on problem solving and creative approaches. Ongoing assessment. Is it working the way you're practicing a particular thing? I do have to tell them that playing through is not really practicing. Simply playing through the music, that's just a matter of familiarity. It's not really practicing, it's not really being honest, it's not really addressing issues. I want to get them to understand where everything is in the learning process, to assess where things are in terms of assimilation. Is it early in the process? Are things being assimilated? Have they been assimilated to some degree? Are we working on musical issues? Where things are in the process, and to understand how the process works for them as well. So I'll go through just a few practice techniques. None of these I have claim to as being terribly original. You've probably heard them before, but I'll talk about them anyhow. For one, maybe start with the technical issues, the technical problems in the piece. Don't start at the beginning. Go right to the technical problems. They tend to take longer. The body works at a slower pace. It needs more time. Second idea, start in a different place or different section every day. This is just a matter of mixing up the practice routine. Don't always start at the same place. We tend to start at the beginning. Why? We don't have to. We can start anywhere we want. Another way to do it is to work from the end to the beginning. Start at the end of the piece. Work that stuff first and work your way back toward the beginning. Sometimes we have a practice session where we start at the beginning. We don't get to the end. So start at the end. Another way to do it is to work on one element at a time. This is a focused kind of practice where we're just thinking about one particular element. It sort of narrows the field of what we're doing and gets us really focused. In other words, just work on the rhythm. I'm just thinking, focusing on the rhythm. I'm very focused on that. Fortunately, that's very simple, so I don't have too many problems. I could focus on voicing. Is the melody coming out? I could focus on balance. In this case, a lot of melody, a lot of support from the left-hand bass, and then less on the inner notes. Go through focusing on just that particular thing. I could focus on tone. I could focus on phrasing, on articulation. I narrow the field and I work on one focused item at a time, and maybe start coupling them. As a matter of efficiency, always start on the problem. When you encounter a problem, first of all, recognize that it's happening for a reason. It's not just a lack of focus or a lack of concentration. It's happening for a reason, so be honest about that and address it. But start on the problem. Don't go back and waste time at the beginning of the phrase. In other words, if I have a problem with accuracy at a certain point in this piece, okay, well, mistakes. So I don't go back to the beginning and tell myself it'll go away. I've just wasted some time. Go right to the problem. It was this particular chord. Take time to see what that feels like, and then go to the next chord. And then go on. And then go on from there. and then put the whole thing in context. Don't go back to the beginning of the phrase. Another way to practice is that slow sensory awareness type of practice that I talked about in an earlier video. And you can do a slow awareness in rhythm, or you can just throw out the rhythm and really just be focusing on how it feels. So in rhythm, slow aware practice sounds like this. It doesn't seem efficient, but it really is if you're doing it right. Things feel. Now I can do it out of rhythm if I need to take more time to assimilate something. Ooh, that's tricky. It gets complicated in there, so it's nice to take time, give it a little more time so you can feel it, assimilate it. Another thing you can do is change something about the piece, the articulations, experience it in a different way, depending on where you are in the process. So another way of reinforcing or affirming what you know, but in experiencing it in a different way, so you're focused on experiencing it in that new way. For example, different articulation. It says legato. Well, what does it feel like in staccato? It says piano, let's try it in forte, see how it feels. And it's nice to put the muscles through their paces. I'm playing everything the same volume there, not worried about voicing. That's not my focus. My focus is on a big, deep tone. I feel my way through it. You could focus on a variety of other things. And there's a lot of different approaches, but those are just some ideas. And the idea of all this, the point of all this, is to help us understand where things are in the process and work towards moving them forward, to experience things in a new way, to help with the assimilation process, to narrow the field of what we're focusing on and kind of just focus on one particular thing at a time, or pairs of things, to look at problem-solving approaches we can take with things, to give the body more time to assimilate things, to affirm what we know, to use our time effectively, and to be honest and address what needs to be addressed, and just mix things up. Try different things and start different places. Next video, we'll look at musical issues, and see you then.